Hey, glad you're here. Quick one. This isn't just another Week 8 game. It's Chiefs at Bills, an old rivalry that always seems to come down to a handful of plays. Kickoff is in Buffalo at 3:25 Arrowhead time, and both teams are in the thick of the race. Kansas City at 5-3. Buffalo sitting at 5-2 with their bye already in the books. That combination makes this game more than a regular Sunday afternoon. It's posture, momentum, and a measuring stick for the rest of the season. What's really interesting about Mahomes versus Allen in this era is how the results split between regular season and playoffs. In the playoffs, Mahomes has had Buffalo's number, but in the regular season, the ledger is different. In other words, every time these two meet, it's a coin flip, unless one team executes the big plays a little better. And that's the theme you'll hear all day. Execution on a few critical plays decides this matchup. Now, let's set the stakes. Why you should care. Buffalo is chasing the E to meet E. Patriots in the division and can't afford a slip. Kansas City is chasing the Chargers and Broncos in the AFC West and needs every win to keep pace. Lose here and momentum shifts. Win here, and you either keep your chase alive or you put a rival on their heels. That's playoff positioning, pure and simple. The games between these two have been tight. 5 of the last 6 decided by one score. Even last season's regular season meeting was a late-game thriller before Allen broke it with that huge 4th-and-2 run. So expect another one-score game, unless somebody gets an early edge or a key player misses time. A few quick things to watch right away. Buffalo's secondary has been hit with injuries, and a veteran got activated. That can change coverage looks. On Kansas City's side, the offense is humming. They've scored 28 or more in 5 straight games. Their red zone efficiency is elite, and Rashee Rice is demanding attention every snap. But you also have to watch the offensive line. Notes: Trey Smith's status is a big deal for how the Chiefs run and protect Mahomes, and Isaiah Pacheco being out flips the running back script to Kareem Hunt. Before we get into the details, do one quick thing for me. If you want to help this channel grow, hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. We're pushing for 6,000 subscribers, and every single click helps us keep breaking down games like this. Also, drop a comment. Do you think the Chiefs win this one? Yes or no? And put your score prediction in one line. I read them all. All right, let's talk about what's clicking for this Chiefs offense and why it could be the deciding factor in Buffalo. The short version: Mahomes is playing at an MVP level again. Over the last 5 games, Kansas City has scored at least 28 points in every single one. That's not just efficiency, that's rhythm. They're averaging elite numbers in time of possession, points per drive, and plays per drive, which means the offense is sustaining drives, chewing clock, and giving the defense a rest. It's the exact formula Andy Reid loves. The Mahomes-Kelsey connection is still money, but the new wrinkle this year is Rashee Rice. He's become the threat that stretches defenses even when he doesn't touch the football. The moment he lines up, defenses have to respect his speed and route tree, and that opens up windows for everyone else. Defenses are realizing they can't just bracket Kelsey anymore because Rice is killing them on the backside. Xavier Worthy looks fully healthy again, and that adds another burner that forces Buffalo's banged-up secondary to play honest. Remember, their nickelback Taron Johnson is questionable with a groin injury. If he can't go or plays limited snaps, that's a soft spot Mahomes will target immediately. Now, let's talk trenches, because that's where this game could quietly swing. The offensive line has been much better than last year, especially on the left side. But all eyes are on Trey Smith. He's dealt with a back issue, but finished the week as a full participant in practice, which is massive news. When he's in, the right side becomes a wall in both pass protection and run blocking. Without him, you saw it last week. 5 pressures allowed from that guard spot. That can't happen against Buffalo's front, even with Ed Oliver out. And speaking of the run game, Isaiah Pacheco being sidelined hurts. But the plan makes sense. It's Kareem Hunt's show this week. Reports indicate Hunt will start and carry the majority of the workload. The team knows the bye is next week, so they'll ride him hard now and let him recover afterward. Hunt's physical running style and ability to grind out third and shorts can keep the offense ahead of schedule. That's the key. If they can run it just enough to keep Buffalo's front from teeing off, Mahomes will slice that secondary apart. It's also possible we see Elijah Mitchell activated for the first time this season, but don't expect heavy usage. Think change of pace snaps. Bashard Smith might see a small uptick too, but again, it's Kareem Hunt's game to control. Quick question for the comments. Who do you think scores the first touchdown for the Chiefs this Sunday? Kelsey, Rice, Kareem Hunt, or a Mahomes scramble? Drop it below. I'll pin a few of the best calls before kickoff. If you're enjoying the breakdown so far, hit that like button and subscribe. We're pushing hard for 6,000 Chiefs fans before the season's over. It takes 1 second, and it keeps this community growing. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Because the Buffalo Bills we're seeing right now aren't the same team the Chiefs are used to facing. Forget the Josh Allen hero ball era. This offense has evolved. They've leaned into a balanced play-action-heavy attack, and it's paying off. Since their offensive adjustments, Allen has been one of the most efficient QBs in football. Completion percentage and QBR have climbed. A lot of that comes down to simplification, fewer forced deep shots, more underneath timing routes, and heavier involvement for James Cook and tight ends. James Cook is quietly having one of the best seasons among AFC backs. His ability to run between the tackles and explode on screens makes him a nightmare to defend. Against Miami last week, he averaged nearly 6 yards a touch and forced multiple missed tackles. If the Chiefs' linebackers don't stay disciplined, Cook could carve them up in the short game all day. Rookie Keon Coleman is another developing threat. Physical, aggressive, and already becoming a target in third down and contested situations. With Stephon Diggs gone, Coleman and Khalil Shakir have stepped up. Shakir in particular has been Allen's most consistent deep option in recent weeks. That's a matchup the Chiefs' secondary must account for. The secret sauce for Buffalo is play action. They've used it heavily, and the big problem for Kansas City is this. The Chiefs currently rank among the worst teams in the league defending play action. Opponents complete a high percentage of those passes against KC, and that's a schematic and discipline issue. Linebackers and safeties have been getting pulled up, leaving the middle of the field exposed. Expect Buffalo to lean into play action, target tight ends like Dalton Kincaid in the seams, and try to take advantage of those hesitant rotations. Steve Spagnuolo knows this vulnerability and will adjust. Expect disguised looks and occasional robber. Concepts to keep Allen guessing. But if Buffalo gets into a rhythm with Cook and protects Allen, their play-action game becomes lethal. So what does that mean for Kansas City's defense? That's the next crucial piece. If Kansas City's offense has been rolling, the defense has been complicated. Over the past month, the Chiefs' defense has slipped from top 5 territory to middle of the pack, and play action is a big reason why. Opponents are completing a high percentage on play action attempts, and that's led to chunk plays and late-game stress. Linebackers have been sucked up at times, safeties hesitated, and corners forced to cover bigger spaces. Against teams that sell fakes well, that's been costly. Steve Spagnuolo admitted they have to trust their eyes and not overreact on the first move. But the defense isn't without strengths. The front seven is still elite when it's healthy. Chris Jones remains a disruptive force, and George Karlaftis is in the midst of a breakout season. When those two get pressure without needing extra blitzers, the secondary can stay disciplined and limit play-action damage. Nick Bolton's presence in the middle is huge. He's the communicator and the traffic cop. With him back in command, the unit looks more organized and less prone to mental lapses. In the secondary, pay attention to Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams. Trent McDuffie will likely shadow slot threats. Those outside matchups will get tested by Buffalo's speed. Spagnuolo will probably use disguise, two high shells that roll into robber looks, simulated pressures that drop into coverage, and delayed pressure to confuse Allen. If the Chiefs can force Allen into a couple mistakes, pressuring him while making him throw into tight windows, this defense can flip the script and create turnovers. One final, basic but vital point: tackling. The Chiefs have missed too many open field tackles lately, especially on screens and checkdowns. With James Cook's shiftiness, missed. Tackles are going to turn short gains into long ones. Fundamentally, Kansas City has to rally and wrap up. So here's the question. Do you think the defense bounces back this week, or are we in for another shootout? Drop your take in the comments. I'll feature some of your responses. Now, let's get to the X factors and matchups that could decide this one. First, Patrick Mahomes versus whatever disguise the Bills throw at him. Buffalo is banged up in places, but they still disguise coverage well. Mahomes reads post-snap rotations better than almost anyone. And if he catches Buffalo in a look that doesn't get home, it can be a big play before you can blink. That's why winning underneath matters. Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, and Xavier Worthy will see short zone coverage early as Buffalo tries to make drives long. If the Chiefs stay patient, Andy Reid can methodically open up seams with motion and stacked formations. Look for Reid to create mismatches for Kelce. In the trenches, Orlando, Brown Jr. isn't in Buffalo anymore, but his replacement at left tackle, Dion Dawkins, is stout and will see a heavy dose of George Karlaftis. Chris Jones will move around the line too, probing for mismatches. If Jones can collapse the pocket and force Allen to scramble right, a direction where he oftentimes throws across his body, Kansas City could bait him into turnovers. For Buffalo, the single biggest X factor is James Cook. If Cook gets going early, Buffalo can lean on play action and neutralize KC's pass rush. If Cook is contained, Allen will have to rely more on clean pocket passing and the Bills' limited deep options. Special teams matter too. Tommy Townsend's punt placement has been quietly excellent, and Harrison Butker is automatic. But Buffalo's return game, a threat with Deontay Harty, could change field position in a heartbeat. One missed coverage or a big return can flip the script. Weather is a potential wild card. Gusty winds could reduce deep attempts and make the short passing game and run attack more important. If the wind is strong, expect both teams to prioritize ball security and move the chains with shorter, high-percentage plays. Bottom line, this game comes down to details. Third downs, red zone efficiency, tackling, and turnover margin. The team that executes those little things will win. Final take. I think the Chiefs win a close one, something like 28-24. Why? Because Mahomes is playing at an elite level. The offense has rhythm and multiple weapons, and if the offensive line holds up with Trey Smith active, they can control enough of the game to keep Buffalo's offense from getting into a full rhythm. But this will only happen if the defense minimizes those play-action busts and gets pressure without over-relying on risky blitzes. Now I want to hear from you. Who's your X factor? Kelsey, Rice, Chris Jones, or someone else? Drop it in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like and subscribe. Remember the goal: 6,000 subscribers. Share the video with a friend who watches the game with you and drop your one-line score prediction below.